All right, everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something a little different today.
Yeah, we're tackling this recent surge in walking pneumonia cases. Seems like it's hitting the younger kids particularly hard.
It is. And, we always keep an eye on the CDC reports, right?
Yeah.
And they're showing this uptick spread across a pretty wide area. We're talking Texas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All the way up to Iowa.
And don't forget, those pockets in Wisconsin and Illinois, too, those numbers are really catching the eye.
Absolutely. And I think what's really interesting here, and maybe a little unsettling for some parents out there, is the name itself, right? Walking pneumonia. It sounds almost, harmless.
It does have that deceivingly mild ring to it, but it's still pneumonia, and we need to take it seriously.
Exactly. So let's break this down. What exactly are we dealing with when we say walking pneumonia?
So it is a milder form, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's caused by this bacteria, Mycoplasma pneumonia.
Mycoplasma pneumonia, okay. So not your typical pneumonia bug.
Right. And because the symptoms are often less severe, people can kind of power through it, hence the walking part. They might not even realize they have pneumonia,
So it's like it's hiding in plain sight, just blending in with all the other sniffles and coughs going around. I can see how that would make it difficult to catch early on.
Exactly. We're talking cough, fever, maybe some chest pain, chills, headaches.
All the things that could easily be mistaken for a cold, especially in kids.
Especially in kids. And that's part of what makes this surge so tricky. So when we talk about this surge, you mentioned those CDC reports.
Yeah.
What kind of numbers are we actually looking at?
Well, they're keeping a close eye on this through their national surveillance system. And let me tell you, some of the recent data from late September is pretty eye-opening. We're talking almost 7% of ER visits for pneumonia in kids aged 2 to 4 were linked to this Mycoplasma pneumonia.
Wow.
7%. That's a big jump. And think about all the kids in that age range. Daycares, preschools, playgrounds.
It's a lot of little ones potentially exposed. So the question everyone's asking is WHY now. Why this sudden increase?
Right. What's changed?
Well, researchers are still trying to piece that puzzle together. It's probably a mix of things, but one theory is that it could be tied to those relaxed COVID precautions.
Interesting.
We were all masking, social distancing, and those measures, while crucial for COVID, might inadvertently shielded us from other bugs.
So our immune systems might be a bit rusty, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of playing catch up now that we're not being as cautious.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got this bug, it's spreading. Maybe our immune systems are a little out of practice.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how this thing actually transmits. How contagious are we talking?
So it spreads through respiratory droplets, when someone coughs or sneezes. But here's the kicker. Someone with walking pneumonia can be contagious for weeks before they even show symptoms.
Weeks? Wow, that's sneaky.
2 to 4 weeks, to be precise. So you could be spreading it without even knowing you're sick.
No wonder it's been so hard to contain. So for those parents out there, what should they be looking for? When is it time to call the doctor?
Well, those early symptoms, as we talked about, they can be very similar to a common cold. But if those symptoms are hanging around, getting worse, or if your child is having trouble breathing, that's a big red flag.
Absolutely. Better safe than sorry, especially with the little ones.
Exactly. A doctor can assess the situation, figure out if it's walking pneumonia, and get them on the right treatment if needed.
Speaking of treatment, how do they even diagnose this thing?
It often starts with a physical exam, listening to the lungs, reviewing the symptoms, and considering their medical history. Sometimes they might order a chest x-ray to get a clearer picture.
Okay, so a thorough look at what's going on.
And there are lab tests that can specifically identify Mycoplasma pneumonia too.
Got it. So let's say it is walking pneumonia. What's the typical treatment plan look like?
Usually they'll prescribe antibiotics specifically designed to target Mycoplasma pneumonia. This helps shorten the illness and lessen the severity of those symptoms.
Makes sense. Knock out the bacteria, help the body recover.
Right. And of course, plenty of rest and fluids. Those are always key for recovery.
Good old-fashioned rest and hydration. Can't go wrong with those. But I imagine, like with so many things, prevention is key here too, right?
Absolutely. And the good news is a lot of the preventive measures are things we should be doing anyway, especially with young children. Hand washing.
Oh, the classic hand washing.
Can't stress it enough. Frequent hand washing with soap and warm water. And we're not talking a quick splash. We're talking 20 seconds of good scrubbing.
Yeah, get those germs off. What about coughs and sneezes?
Cover those up. Tissue or the inside of your elbow.
The vampire sneeze. Classic.
Exactly. Got to keep those droplets contained. And of course, regular cleaning of surfaces, toys, Doorknobs, countertops, all those high-touch areas.
Those toys can be germ magnets, that's for sure. So it seems like we've got a lot to be mindful of here. Walking pneumonia on the rise, symptoms that can mimic a cold, treatment available, but prevention is always the best strategy.
It is. And, this surge does make you wonder, right? Is this a sign of things to come? Are we seeing a shift in respiratory illness patterns? Maybe because of those changing precautions, or maybe something else entirely.
That's a great point. It definitely raises some important questions for the future. Well, as always, knowledge is power. So stay informed, everyone. Be mindful of those preventive measures we talked about, and stay healthy out there.